Hello, everybody. This is our number 11 podcast. And for Outrageously Evolving, I should say, Whistler Green and
Santari Green.
I think you know who we are by now. But we want to talk this time on who are you really? I think that's a pretty good topic because I think a lot of people think they're just regular old human beings. And in fact, they're extraordinary genius, super players, super creators in whatever way is theirs to create. And I don't believe there isn't anybody on this planet who isn't an amazing super creator being, that we all have that inside of us. And the journey of discovery to find out that you're not just a normal old human being living a good life, but this extraordinary being who's here for great purpose is just such an adventure to be a part of and to discover. How about for you?
And trying to identify what that purpose might be,
Yes.
that greater
Yeah.
purpose might be.
Yeah.
I think people tend to get too hung up upon what it is that they know and what they've been told from birth, and following the strategies that other people have set out before them, that they forget to be innovative, don't even
Yes.
know how to be innovative. And I think this idea we spoke about on the last call, maybe touching upon a greater purpose, that people don't even have any sense of what that might be for themselves.
Yeah.
Let alone other people in their family and people that they might even not get on with in their family. So the idea about greatness showing up in other people is almost like perhaps laughable for a great number of people.
Yeah.
So we're asking a question: Who are we really? Who are we really if we descended from who knows where, come down to our planet Earth, stepped into human form, and suddenly everything is laid out before us? You go to work, you earn money, and you get a partner, you procreate, and that's it. Anything else? Oh, maybe not. Maybe there's all sorts of problems and pitfalls in the way for you to actually be on this voyage of discovery with us.
Yeah.
So if we start with that premise about that you're something more than what you believe yourself to be, then it's a good stepping off point to ask that question: who are we really beyond our names, beyond our identities, beyond what people think about ourselves, what society says that we are, and any number of other particulars that might be said about us as single individuals or as a species.
Yeah. If I go back to when you and I met 28 years ago, that was when I first came to Glastonbury. Um, I would say that at the time, I considered myself to be a pretty okay human being who was on a journey of discovery about energy, about consciousness, about, what my purpose might be. And then when we met, I went through a period of, we both went through periods of shifting quite a lot. And I remember one day feeling quite lost in it all and quite distressed by it all. And I remember you pulled the car over and we stood in this fence at a green field here in England. And I said, I don't know how I'll live in the world. How will I go forth and be who I want to be? Because I was ultra sensitive at the time. And you said to me, well, we'll just make up a new life then and create ourselves as we want to be. And that was the beginning of this epic journey of outrageously evolving, I think, for you and I, where we allowed ourselves to be the creators of our lives, of ourselves, of our work in the world.
We
And
also
it's
gave
been
ourselves new
joyous.
names, if you remember.
Yes. Yeah.
And by doing that, it makes a break from the past. So
Yes.
people who would have known me by my previous name, they were really no longer there.
Yeah.
It's like I had made a break from a life that I had known, which was leading towards a particular outcome, and allowed me to create a new life in which I had no idea where it might lead me
Yeah.
and who I might become during the course of it.
Yeah.
So, in a sense, names sometimes hold you to a particular pattern, that you've been given a name and then with all the associations of that name, and therefore you are conforming in some way to what it is that your parents want for you and what society wants for you. But in creating new, unique names, which felt right, which sounded right to the ear, and which felt right
Yeah.
to the being, then that allowed us to feel that we were creating something new that hadn't been there before. And that gave an opening for us to be able to live quite freely from who we had been.
Sorry, somebody's trying to phone me. I'm trying to turn it off and
It's the other
they
self.
phone me again. So sorry about that, folks. But yes, who are we really? I think what you and I have discovered is that we are the creators of ourselves. In our case, I think other people would discover other things about themselves. But to discover that we are the creators of ourselves, that we are limitless in scope and nature and possibilities, that to me is just so exciting to be able to do that, like, wow, that's extraordinary to have that. So how does one discover who they really are? Well, first of all, I think that inside ourselves, there is a unique essence. It is what makes us different from everything else, but it's not what defines or limits us. It's just that which identifies us as unique. And then there are pathways of possibility that are waiting for us that match to that uniqueness that's within us. And when we step onto the right pathways, and there are many of them for each of us, when we step on those are adventures of discovery of who you really are, rather than you don't come into it thinking, well, I'm this and I have this and I've learned that and I've got this much money and I have these skills. No, you step onto the pathway of possibility of yourself and you go on adventure, as we said from our last number 10 podcast, going for greatness. So you step onto an epic adventure and the joyous discovery of who you really can become is extraordinary. So it's not who are we really as a definition of self. It's who are we as a possibility of what we can become, and therefore what we can gift into the world and the universe as a possibility for creation, for life, for all of us to thrive upon.
I was just thinking then about an experience I had in Australia back in 2008. And I was invited to attend an evening with adults and children, and to be able to almost like to be the host of the evening. And almost as soon as we started, there was a young girl, probably about 17 years old, who had this fit of laughter. And everybody was saying, "Oh, there she goes again, she's doing the, this, that, and the other." And after the fit of laughter subsided and the girl apologized, I said to her, "Do you find it easier to breathe now?" To which she said, "Yes." And that was, I think, something which allowed her to be treated differently,
Mm.
because by taking a stance that there was something that she was communicating, but didn't have the words to communicate it with,
Yeah.
and that her presence in with other people almost like prevented her from being outspoken and being, the person that she could be. It It's like there was a nervousness there, a tension there. And I remember speaking with the group in a way that showed them that she was different than what they were seeing in her,
Yeah.
that there was something which they'd missed, that there was an appreciation that could be given, which would allow her to breathe more freely. And at the end of it, she had had a problem with another girl, and she flung her arms around her because she, almost in a sense, had been liberated from and had been seen for who she really was.
Yeah.
And I think these moments of appreciation, of being able to speak with a person and be with a person and show a person that you are not seeing them in a way that other people have seen them is really groundbreaking for them.
It's the ability to witness magnificence in everyone and everything, every living form of life. But when you witness magnificence in another, it allows them the freedom to then become who they can really become, who they really are, who they are meant to be in the world, you know? And I think that's such an incredible gift that we can give to others. And it's part of the foundation of my work, and I think your work too, in the world, is that witnessing of magnificence, that celebration of uniqueness and genius and extraordinariness that lives inside every single person.
And I think you do have to have that openness and willingness to embody something that is truly amazing
Yeah,
so that when people come to you, they feel that not only are you a safe space, a safe person to speak with, but that they feel that openness resonating in themselves at the same time,
yeah,
and the willingness to for them to become more than they're showing themselves to be. I think that operates on another distinctly different level. Maybe we call it telepathically, can be picked up telepathically. But nonetheless, we are capable of operating at different levels of consciousness and are able to pick upon these different signs of appreciation that can then be articulated and communicated in ways that not only inspire but uplift and enliven and show people that they are something considerably more than they give themselves credit for.
yeah,
And it's not something that you're trained in, I would say. It is almost like you have this feeling in you. You want people to be amazing. You want them to be magnificent. You want them to show up in as grand a sense of their potential as they can possibly be. You don't know who they can be.
yeah,
You don't question who they can be. You don't have an idea about what it is that you may say that will speak to that magnificence in them. But nonetheless, something happens, some trigger is set, and it is then you're in a different space entirely
completely.
than when you perhaps first meet them. Something changes in the dynamic of the communication. And I think it is this openness that you feel that you can communicate on so many different levels at the same time. And you're not trying to focus upon any one thing, not trying to focus upon healing a person, not trying to focus upon being the listening ear, not trying to focus upon accessing their potential for greatness.
Yeah,
You're not trying to do any of that stuff. It is simply the openness and the expansion about being able to be so present, not only with yourself, but with the life around you, that allows transformations to occur effortlessly, instantaneously, seemingly magically. And that I think is, what we are both all about.
beautifully said. Yeah. I would summarize that for me as when I'm in awe of others, they not only show up amazingly in the space of that, but I, in the awe space of them, get to show up as well. It's like this amazing moment of connection that happens where you both elevate to a whole new level of yourselves. It's a beautiful thing to partake in. So thanks for bringing that in on that. So yeah. Okay. Woo. That was a good one.
Aren't they all?
So we invite you all to just be on an adventure of discovery of who you really are and who you really can become, because it's an extraordinary adventure and one that is well worth living your life for. So once again, thank you for listening and watching, and we look forward to the next podcast with you soon. Thanks a
And
lot.
we hope we are your inspirations also.
Thanks.
Ciao for now.
Bye.